Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, then run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up, then run it back.
You know what? It's Tuesday today. This is Run It Back, FanDuel TV. But I just realized Lou wasn't on the show yesterday. Didn't see the new open. What'd you think?
I liked it. It threw me off a little bit.
It did.
I like the animation.
Like, is this even our show? That's what we asked ourselves. I like it's the playoff edition of everything we're doing here. Introductions, Chandler P, Lou Will, Charania, Stadium Insider coming at us from, I'm assuming, his castle in Chicago. But we're going to get things started right away because, oh my God, those games last night.
Those games were awesome.
No offense, Cleveland Magic. We're not talking about you. We are talking about
They
the
played last
other
night?
two games.
Holy shit, there was a third game.
Let's start with the Lakers Nuggets. Good God. If you were trying to go to bed early on this one, good luck. Jamal Murray, I salute you. The game winner, Denver goes up 2-0. 101-99 is the final on that. But the Lakers had a 20-point lead in this thing, in the second half, no less. 10 straight wins now Denver has against this team. Jokic, 27, 20, and 10. LeBron had his 26, 12, and 8, and AD had 32 points. However, only 8 of those came in the second half. All right, let's start with Jamal Murray here, Chandler. How impressive was this moment's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it was unbelievable. This guy just continues to do it. And what's crazy is everyone's going to talk about this game winner last night, but the shot before, the possession before, was just as big. Same kind of step back, right? And he had struggled all night long, which makes it even more impressive that he still has that confidence, he still has that belief. And that wasn't an easy shot. That's a step back, going right, over Anthony Davis, one of the best defenders the NBA has. Leaving them literally no time, just the perfect situation for them. And again, like I said, the shot before was pretty similar to this. It was a long mid-range two to tie the game up. LeBron got a great look at the other end, but this is just special. This is a big-time clutch play when his team needed him the most. You know, this series could be a lot different. I know the Lakers right now and the Sixers are waking up that this should be 1-1, going back home, going back to swing, take home court advantage. And one play like this kind of ruins everything. And this is tough because the Lakers dominated this game all night long, but this was just a huge, huge clutch shot from Jamal Murray.
Every time AD falls back, I worry about his ankles. I'm like, he's getting caught up in the celebration.
This is just insane.
It is. Oh, there's the angle.
Again, this guy he was 9 for 24, and literally he made his last two, which he had an off night too, which makes it even more impressive.
Big shot after big shot from the Denver Nuggets. You know, even the Jamal Murray shot is gonna be celebrated, but the shot before Michael Porter Jr. making with a contest from behind, that's an extremely difficult shot to make. Everybody was scrambling around. Denver put themselves in a position to win this basketball game. Good teams, championship caliber teams always find a way. This was nothing short of that. Jamal Murray, like Chandler just said, struggled all night long, but shoot. His confidence never wavered, and he brought him home.
That's because after the game, he talked about like his teammates were the ones that were basically telling him, no, we're still gonna get you the ball and everything. But how hard is that?
It's not hard. You got to think. If you're on a basketball team, everybody knows who they want to put the ball in their hands, right? And so I'd rather Jamal Murray miss 10 in a row and take the 11th shot as one of my best scorers, opposed to putting the ball in somebody's hand that's having a hot night. That's usually not the guy that we're going to depend on.
Really?
Yeah, and as good as Jokic was last night, you could see his stat line, 27, 20, 10. You're not going to give him the ball back to basket with the game on the line, because then either way, he's going to get double teamed. It's going to be a scramble situation. So someone else, a Pope, a Porter is going to have the shot. Not that that's a problem, because they've knocked it down all year long, but you want the ball
in the hands of your guys.
Like Giannis is the Bucks' best player. The ball is going to be in Damian Lillard's hand at the end of the game. You have to have that dominant guard. You have to have him at least set it up. And he took it in himself, and it was a great shot and unbelievable. And basically, it won the game for him.
It is. If you were watching alone, you screamed. That was how great that ending was. Anthony Davis, of course, had to talk after this one. I'm sure it was difficult. Asked about the game winner.
Jamal Murray made a shot.
And that's exactly what happened. He's not wrong. Like, those are awkward moments, right? I mean, he's pissed.
I hate, too, when something like this happens and the reporter's like, what happened on the last play? It's like, you saw it. Like, why are you making us relive it? And what's crazy is that game winner, Lou, That was their first lead since 5-4 in the first quarter. So the Lakers, obviously, they let this one go. They were up 20 points. This LeBron and Anthony Davis pick and roll was working so well. Then they got a little careless. They started turning the ball over. They were getting a lot of empty possessions, taking tough shots. And when you play against a team like Denver, they're never going to lay down. They're never going to give up. Especially in that altitude, you're going to see teams start to tinker. They're not. They're going to continue to play. They're used to that, and it showed deep into this game.
I'm going to take a wild guess here. I don't think his frustration had anything to do with that game winner. At 32 points, at that point, we always criticize Anthony Davis about not being aggressive enough. 32 points, he's clearly one of the best players on the Lakers last night, being aggressive, going right at Jokic. I've seen him aggressive like this, and they've always been successful. Last 6 possessions of that basketball game, he didn't touch the basketball. I think that's where his frustration comes down. Whether it's on the court, whether it's Darwin Ham on the sideline, somebody has to be aware that he hadn't touched the ball in a few possessions and we need to get him the ball.
All I know is that you're watching that game and you realize in the third quarter with, I don't know, like 9 minutes or so left to go, he had already had his 30.
Yeah.
And then after that, just what? 2 more? Like, that's kind of a crazy stat to have.
And that's what I'm talking about. When he's got it going and him and LeBron are playing this 2-man game, this pick and roll, it was working earlier and got them this big lead. Why do you go away from that?
I don't know.
You got to continue to don't fix what's not broken. Like, for whatever reason, they got away from that, and LeBron was unbelievable, too. Down the stretch,
Oh my God.
LeBron was insane. I was shocked he missed that wide open 3, which was another risky flop.
Of course,
by
he'll get killed for that.
KCP.
He'll get
But you can't ask for a better look. And Anthony Davis, as much he disappeared later in the game, he also was unbelievable. And so they got enough from those two. But to me, like, we've been talking about Gabe Vincent all year long. Where's he? 15 minutes, no points. Spencer Dinwiddie, I thought he was going to be this huge addition to their team.
Both.
Where has he been? Like, so now D'Angelo Russell played good, so you can't blame it on him. So, like, so now you got to start looking at these other guys who've got to start contributing. Because LeBron and Anthony Davis were fantastic last night.
To me, Chandler, it's time and possession of the game, right? You're the Lakers. Like you said, they had Denver didn't have their first lead since 5-4. Even though the Lakers are a jump shooting basketball team, coming down that stretch, if I have somebody like an Anthony Davis, even LeBron James, play back to the basket, slow it down a little bit, and give yourselves an opportunity to get good looks. They continued to shoot jump shots, and ended up living and dying with it.
And Jokic finishes with 2 fouls. That just shows me that Anthony Davis is not being he's not being aggressive enough.
At the end, yeah.
Well, LeBron, speaking of fouls and officiating, was pretty pissed off post-game as well. He had some thoughts on the refs in this one.
I don't understand what's going on in the replay center, to be honest. I think I said it this year or last year, whatever. D'Lo clearly gets hit in the face on a drive. What the do we have a replay center if it's going to go? It doesn't make sense to me. It makes no sense to me. It bothers me. Sorry I didn't answer your question, but that shit is like. And then I just saw what happened with the Sixers Knicks game too. What are we doing?
Okay, that's actually pretty funny. And I just saw what happened in the other game. I mean, look, he's not wrong. Is he wrong? Tell me.
I've never seen a player talk about the officiating in another game, try to prove his point.
Exhibit B.
Listen, when you replay, of course, is there contact? Is if you slow it down, you pause it, you look, is there going to be contact that you can't see in game speed? Yes. The idea of blaming the refs on this loss is nuts. They had a 20-point lead, and again, like I said earlier, they got away from what they were doing, which was working. That's why they lost this game, not because of the officiating. The D'Lo play was weird because they did look at it. He clearly gets hit in the face, and then they said something how it was viewed as not enough contact or something.
What?
That is weird to me because there's clearly when someone's hit in the face or the eye while you're trying to finishing a layup, that's got to be some sort of foul, right? So the fact that they did take time, look through that, and then still came up with that result was a little interesting, and obviously that was a huge part of the game. But yeah, again, coaches always say it's not one play, but then players and teams love to look at that one play just because it was, magnified there.
Sure.
But listen, the refs could always be better. It's the worst job in the world, but they controlled their own destiny in this game when they were up 20 in the third quarter.
That's the part that's kind of hard to gloss over. Shams, is there a sense of why the D'Lo foul was a no call?
My understanding is that the refs believe that the contact happened before the shot attempt, and that's why, because it was inadvertent contact, happened after the shot attempt was already made, that it didn't impact the shot, wasn't a shooting foul. But I mean, Lou and Chandler played. I'm curious, should that have been a foul? It's like shooting a jump shot. Sometimes you get hit on the wrist, you get hit on the hand, and they call the foul. Sometimes they don't. It is sometimes inconsistent.
Yeah, like you said, it's inconsistent. So we can nitpick all we want, but again, I don't think this is an officiating thing. You know, are they going to get them all right? Absolutely not. Are they going to be perfect? Absolutely not. I thought he got hit in the face. I don't understand the rules half the time. I can agree with LeBron there. What are we doing? But at the end of the day, these guys had ample opportunities to close this game out and fell short.
Yeah, what pisses you off as a player is if you're being officiated a certain way and then the last 2 minutes, last 4 minutes, it changes. It can't be inconsistent. So whatever it is, whether if that was a foul the first 4 minutes of the game, it's got to be a foul the last 4 minutes of the game. So that, I think, is when players get frustrated when they're not being reffed the same exact way throughout the 48-minute games. Looking at this replay, it's a foul. That's why I don't understand how they looked at the replay and said it wasn't a foul or it wasn't enough contact. Like, the guy got hit in the face when he's shooting a basketball. It's a foul.
I mean, perspective's an interesting thing, isn't it?
And like, is it obvious like at the time, and is it after the ball left his hand? But that is a dead-ass foul.
I mean, he's grabbing his face.
And what's crazy is they called it. They got it right, reviewed it, and then got it wrong.
The worst part is if he reacts negatively, they'll probably tee him up and make it worse as if he's wrong.
Yeah.
There were a couple of those. But you know what's funny about it is I was listening to the Denver broadcast for a little while, and just to listen to the other side of things, the number of calls that they think are being made against their team, especially where LeBron is concerned, is hilarious. So it's just perspective and whose side you're on. But the Lakers, bottom line is they're down 2-0 right now, Shams, and they come back here to Los Angeles. You got LeBron, so I don't think you need to worry about the mental state, but what do they need to do to get back in this thing?
You know a crazy statistic right now? 114-83. That's where they've been outscored in the second half in both of these games. To me, that's adjustments and tightening up rotations as well. Darvin Ham is going 9 deep in both games so far, at least, and he got 6 points last night off that bench. Taurean Prince with 6 points. The guys obviously mentioned Spencer Dinwiddie 0, Gabe Vincent 0, Jackson Hayes 0. They didn't get many efforts. So how do you tighten up the rotation and really stick to guys? Can you play both Spencer Dinwiddie and Gabe Vincent coming off that bench, or do you have to really make a decision for one of those guys? So Darvin Ham, we've talked about rotations all season. I think they have a starting lineup that they can depend on and rely on. But coming off that bench, how do you find the guys in the offense that you can really stick to? That's the challenge Darvin Ham is going to have.
And as frustrating as this first 2 games have been, at least the Lakers know they can play with this team. The Lakers know they can beat this team. They should have beat this team. They should be coming back here.
Do they know
Oh,
that?
10 the last 10,
like 10 in a row.
Yes, but everyone's talking about the big bad Nuggets that no one can beat them.
0-10. That's a bully.
But the Lakers think they should have won this game last night. They did everything to in this game. They just didn't execute down the stretch. I think Game 3, they're going to come out, and I think the Lakers win Game 3.
You want to put something on that, or?
Yes, I do.
Ooh, it's
Let's hear
happening.
it.
Yeah, I'm with Lou on that. They are 10 down in a row.
That's a lot.
I mean,
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
That's correct.
So I'm not 100% sure. Like, I get
I'm
that
just
this
saying
one
it's not
felt.
like they came here and got pillaged in Denver. In
Fair.
both
No,
games.
but
Like
it's even worse. If I'm 0-9,
Right.
and I'm in the 10th game, and I'm up 20 in the third quarter, and I lose on a buzzer
That
beater,
stings.
this nightmare is still going.
Yeah, but
I'm not out of the
It's
clear.
almost worse.
They're not encouraged after this game.
I
Do
disagree.
you think they're encouraged after this game?
They dominated this game, Lou. They did everything literally but win this game. They did everything but win the game.
Chandler, you've laced up before. You're not feeling good this morning. The music's not blasting in the practice facility this morning.
No,
in the Lakers
the vibes
facility.
are a little low.
The vibe is bad. It's cloudy outside.
The vibes are a little low.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is,
you just saw the post-game pressers. These guys aren't encouraged about that. They're pissed off and they're ready to go. Now, if they're using it as motivation, sure. But are they encouraged? I
think they're old enough and experienced
Hell
enough
no.
that they think, all right, you know what? They got 2 at their place. Now we're going to
That's interesting.
And that's okay. I'm okay with the Lakers coming home, being pissed off, ready to play another game, especially on their home floor. But they're not coming in like, hey, this was a great effort. We can build off of this. They're pissed off for sure, but they're not encouraged after losing a 20-point lead, still trying to figure out who's going to get the ball at the end of games, taking good shots. LeBron James got a wide open 3. We'll take that. But other than that, 6 possessions without Anthony Davis touching the basketball, you got to clean that up.
It is funny because you're like, oh, we almost had him, so that's positive. But I'm thinking like, no, we did everything we could do,
And we still
still lost.
Yeah.
the 10th in a
tough.
row.
Yeah.
That's frustrating. That's frustrating. Now,
Also-
I still like the Lakers on their home court. You know, don't get me confused. I still think they close this gap at home, but I don't think they're encouraged by this loss is what I'm saying.
But also, what do they do with Jokic?
Well.
Like, what do you do?
Billion-dollar question.
You can't guard the guy one-on-one. Anthony Davis is such a good defender, and he just continues to put him in a spin cycle. He's doing like Kevin McHale moves better than Kevin McHale ever did them, spinning and step
Fancy
through.
feet.
And it's unbelievable what he does. So they're going to have to figure out a game plan against him too, to where they're double team. I mean, before he even puts the ball down, because you can't give him space because he's such a good passer. He can see over the defense. So I mean, it's like as soon as he catches the ball wherever he is on the floor, you're scrambling and you're playing 3 against 4 on the other end.
Even in an open court, I saw him give the ball up, make a backdoor cut, finish in traffic with a finger roll. I'm like,
crazy.
I'm looking at a center do this.
And he's doing this to Anthony Davis.
Yeah, it's not just doing it to nobody.
It's ridiculous.
So based on all that, and he did have the 27, 20, and 10, is he the best? I love these questions. The best center of all time?
I still live in a world where Shaquille O'Neal is the best center I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Period. There's no science to that.
Yeah, I think Shaq's the most.
So Shaq's one?
I think Shaq, like 2001 Shaq might be the most dominant Shaq.
You know, the day that I
most dominant
see
player of all
Nikola
time.
Jokic break a backboard,
Shoot.
I'm in.
I don't know if that's gonna happen.
He really is unbelievable though. Like it's so fun watching him play. Like I know we've had greats before. I know there's a lot of great big guys back in the day. Shaq's just his presence, his physicality, his dominance is next level. But as far as skill, and there's nothing on the floor this guy cannot do at that position. It's remarkable.
Because the body doesn't always match what's happening. It's kind of a crazy thing for your brain.
We said if we had Downs at like a park, we wouldn't pick him up if we saw him. We'd be like,
Yeah, just eye test alone.
Yeah.
Eye test alone. Jokic probably
Yeah, you
6
guys
big on
next.
the
And then you're
on
gonna
the
get
floor.
killed.
Yeah, we'd be cooked.
The other game last night that led into this one that was ridiculously
The Cavs
dramatic.
Magic.
No, shut up.
Ah.
Sixers Knicks. Woo, this one was another stunning ending to it. The Knicks take this one. They got a 2-0 series lead going back to Philly. They trailed by 5 with less than 30 seconds left to play. Brunson, 24-8-6. Hart, 21-15. Maxey had his 35-9-10, and Embiid did finish with 34-10-6. But the ending on this one, once again, was, and they were in the streets after this. It was like a championship had been won. Take me through it, Chandler.
It was insane. It was nuts. It was just the epitome of this Knicks team all year long, how they never give up, how they play so hard, how they just fly around on the offensive glass. But on the Philly side, it's crazy because I hate to throw a coach under the bus. I hate to throw.
Uh-oh.
But right here, once this shot, hold on.
Chaos. Just
What we got going here?
chaos.
Yeah, so there's a kind of a broken play. That's fine. This happens to bounce in, which is a crazy shot.
That was a crazy shot.
Kyle Lowry's a vet player. You in his head, he's counting. You got if you're Nick Nurse right now, you got to be more obvious calling a timeout.
Because he said he was, but it was like 2 fingers.
Which he was. It was
Like, what is
even
that?
right there. He's trying to do it again, but it's too late because now it's a broken play, right? It's a loose ball. You can't. No one had possession when he was trying to call a timeout. So I gotta say that before Kyle Lowry even throws the ball in, he's got to call a timeout. Nick Nurse has got to call a timeout because even
This has to be a quick one. This
Yes.
has got to, like when Kyle's taking his ball out, it's a 1 count, 2 count timeout. We're not even gonna leave.
And
the
people are like,
chance.
oh, let's their defense get set up or whatever, but it also lets you sub in your best free throw shooters. It lets you put your best passer on the baseline and get the ball in. But right now, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3. Kyle,
this has to be time.
Timeout right now. And this never happens. They go, they design a play, they get their free throw shooters in. Now the Knicks have to foul, and if you make both free throws, the game's probably over. But listen, again, look at Hartenstein on the glass. DiVincenzo, look at the Stones just after just missing one right there to put them up 1. This is just the epitome of a team, but that should never happen with a vet player with Kyle Lowry, with a coach like Nick Nurse. This can't happen. This has got to be an obvious
This is a
timeout.
chemistry thing, right? Kyle Lowry just joining this basketball team. I've seen him do this countless amount of times with the Miami Heat, getting it out quick, trying to get it to your best free throw shooters, because at that time you got a Duncan Robinson, you got a Tyler Hero, you got Jimmy Butler. Guys are more than capable of making free throws right there. So to hurry up and get the ball in, I don't think they were on the same page of thinking when it came to that. This is something that Kyle has always done, and it just didn't go their way. If Maxey grips that ball, I think he has a great chance of probably getting fouled or something like that. You got away from him. This can be a coaching error. This can be a Kyle Lowry error. either way it goes, I just think that last 15 to 20 seconds were mismanaged by the Sixers.
Yeah, and
There was some confusion to the point where people were like, do they not have a timeout?
a turnover
Clearly.
is the only thing that kills you right there, literally. So when you have I get it. Yeah, if you didn't have a timeout, which they obviously did,
Yep.
that's just, it's inexcusable. At this point in the season, game on line, again, this was just like the Lakers game. This was their game. They did everything to win this game. So, like, again, this is demoralizing. This doesn't feel good. You see your best player literally limping around the court all game long, which looks awful and sad. But this is a timeout. Get your ball in. Make your free throws. Game over. And you're going back to Philly 1-1.
Yep, that's not what happened. By the way, Nick Nurse was asked about this one. The post-game press conference is a lot of very angry people. But Nick Nurse says he did call the timeout. Here he is.
They score. We take a look at getting it in quick. We don't get it in quick. I call timeout. Referee looked right at me, ignored me. Went into Tyrese. I called timeout again. Then the melee started, and yeah, I mean, I guess I got to run out onto the floor or do something to make sure and get his attention. But I needed a timeout there to advance it. Would have been good, but couldn't get it.
You look at coaches like Spo, Doc Rivers. They're running on that floor.
Gotta.
Listen, if anything, you're gonna see me on this floor. You're calling a timeout. So
Maybe try this, too. They might see.
I like the quietness of it. I did this.
But here's the thing. When you watch the replay in slow motion, so if Tibbs was calling a time, it's a loose ball. You can't just call a timeout when no one has a sole possession. And he looked like, you could tell he was very timid.
Like he was kind of like,
yeah,
I don't
like,
know.
oh shit, should we do it? Do we have the ball? Are they gonna foul? Like,
Yeah.
that wasn't an obvious timeout. It wasn't. It's like, file a grievance, do everything. It's not gonna work.
Doing that.
You should have called a timeout earlier. You should have been louder. Like Lou said, go on the floor, grab a ref, call a timeout. Your season's on the line here. You have a chance to even this thing up and go back home, and you do that off like a communication error. Like, no, do not let that happen as the head coach.
Well, so we had the last game that was demoralizing, the way they lost, being up 20, the Lakers. And we've got this one, Lou. So they got to go back to Philly. Obviously, it's going to be loud and chaotic. But how do you get past how big this loss must have felt?
You're going home next two, very much like the Lakers. You know, you're not encouraged, but you're motivated in knowing that you're going and play in front of your home court. You had an opportunity to sleep in your own bed last night and try to get this thing reset and get 2 games on your home floor.
Yeah, and to me, it's Joel's health. He's playing unbelievable, right? He's got 34, 10, and 6. He's playing 39, 40 minutes a game. The fact that he's doing that, he's leaving it all out there. And I'm happy and I'm proud of him. But again, it's got to start transitioning to wins, right? Because now he's like, Jesus, I'm doing everything. I'm killing myself. You can see him literally limping. I'm almost surprised that they're not pulling him at certain points of the game. There was a play when Deuce McBride had the layup, and Joel just literally couldn't run to catch him. Like, he's not himself. So the fact that they're even battling and they're in this position is crazy. Tyrese Maxey was great last night, but I hope that can figure out something, to tolerate this pain, because he looks miserable out there.
It does not look enjoyable. Look, Joel, after the game, if you saw it without the sound, it's a little heartbreaking. And then you hear the sound and you're like, oh, there's some confidence in there. So here he is.
Home and try to turn this thing around.
We should be 2-0, so we good. We're gonna win this series. We gonna win this. We know what we gotta fix. We did a better job today, so we gonna fix it. But we're the better team, and we gonna keep fighting.
I'm not a body language expert.
Yeah.
But the words where we're gonna win this series were good. But the body language said something else. Does anyone here believe him?
It's one game at a time, but do I believe him? No, not yet. But again, they win game 3, they flip it, it gets a totally different situation. They've done a good job on Jalen Brunson. He's been extremely inefficient. But then you got guys like Josh Hart, who have been unbelievable with his activeness and his rebounding and just doing all the little things he's done. You're getting games like game 1, Deuce McBride was unbelievable. Hartenstein, they're getting a little bit from everything.
Bogdanovich coming in doing things?
Bogdanovich has been great, knocking down outside shooting. So it's OG's going to start figuring it out. So the Knicks are a scrappy team. They defend. They play extremely hard. But I'm with Joel. If they clean up a few things, they call one time out there. I can't help but just get over that. That's the big thing. Can they get over this heartbreak? Can they get over this game and move on and say, okay, we win game 3, everything changes. So that would be the key how they come out in that third game.
And I'm looking at the Knicks and the production that they're getting from their starting 5 and their bench. Some guys got to step up on the Sixers. You know, Tobias Harris has to be better. He has to be that third option that he's there to be. Even the guys that's talking shit. Kelly Oubre has to be better. Paul Reed have to be better. If you guys are going to poke the bear, y'all got to show up and show out. And I think going back to Philadelphia, they'll get better production out of those guys. I think we'll see a different version of the Sixers in games to come.
I mean, look, before this game, too, there were a lot of questions, specifically Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid, questionable dudes. Shams, what went into the decision-making? Where are we with those guys?
So Joel Embiid, he's got that knee issue, and I think as each game goes on, you're starting to see he is dealing with that. That's something that he's got to manage every single game. It's obviously not at the peak 100% level, but he's hoping that it heals as these games go on, and he's playing through it. He's battling. 34 points from last night. Tyrese Maxey with 35. Tyrese Maxey was sick going into the game, but obviously he's a gamer. He's going to play through it. But Joel Embiid, of course, with the knee, and also I was told he was poked in the eye in the play-in game against Miami last week, so that's another issue. You see him looking down there. It's not going to be something that's going to keep him from playing. But obviously, Joel Embiid is battling through multiple things like he has in previous years, but we're seeing it now unfold. But listen, his production, what do you have, 29 in game 1, 34 in game 2. He's producing. Does he have one of those 40-point games in him? He probably will need it back in Philly.
Joms, I got bad news. That knee's just not going to heal during these playoff games. He's going to be battling through that all series long.
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one, but he'll be in there. Shams, love you, mean it. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow. We'll take a quick break here. When we come back, the champ, 4-time champ, John Salley
from outer space.
Oh, he's in space again.
Peter makes hats with animals on it. All right.
Yes.
Run it up, run it back, 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 run it back.
Champ already. Move by John Salley. 101 authentic. I don't see no competition.
By Salley.
Call on them, baby.
Really, I mean, doesn't really need an introduction, but he's a 4-time champ, John Salley. Been on the show. We love him. The background, once again, is stellar, literally. John, we've been talking Lakers. We have a very interesting difference in perspective up here about how this Lakers game ended and what the mood should be. But the bottom line is 10 in a row to the same team. Has there been, in your career, was there some team that just had your number? And if so, what'd you do to get out of it?
No. We didn't have that. That's never happened in my career. No. So what happened is my first year we lost to the Celtics, but people didn't think it was going to happen in Detroit. And then the next year, we came back and we beat them, but then we lost to the Lakers. And then we came back again. Then we won the championship. But I think I was always on the team that had Chicago Bulls' number, and they hated that.
See, the other side. The other side is where we are.
You guys are trying to block out my Maya's cookies.
No way. You got Maya's cookies.
There they are.
You don't pay me. If you paid me, I wouldn't have to be a walking billboard. So get the cryon over to the side, Cahill.
Maya's
Thank you.
Cahill.
They don't even pay me. They trying to block out
not paying us either, we're being honest.
Yeah. John, Anthony Davis is looking pretty good in this series, right? But then the second half comes around, he only has 8 points, and he's not a real factor when it matters. Is there something he's doing wrong, or is it just going up against a guy like Jokic that he kind of get exposes? What's the issue?
I'm going to tell you, Jokic is like you said, he did moves better than Kevin McHale. I don't think so, but man, close. It's the hardest guy in the world to play against. And then I don't know what doesn't keep your motivation. This killer instinct thing that I know most players should have, especially when you're in the pros. At one time, when guys were in the pros, they had a lot to lose. These guys don't have a lot to lose.
Is it possible he's the best center of all time? I know people are talking we said no, but
no. Whoever said that are guys who don't play.
Yeah.
I know they want you to listen to them in the production meeting. Trust me, they all do crystal meth.
You're not drinking this. You're not drinking the juice. Could he?
Don't listen to him.
Where is he on that list?
Where is he on that pecking order?
Well, can he finish his career?
Right.
I mean, he gotta finish his career. Like, he gotta have 15 years in the league to figure out where he's gonna be. And I think he's great. I think what he does is great. I think it's different. Like I said, the way he plays is is entirely different. They let him do a lot of things, and you're not allowed to hit him. So if you're not allowed to use your body on a guy who is all body, he's going to be able to do whatever he wants.
The producer just confirmed he tested negative for crystal meth, though.
One down.
John, is there a scenario in which you feel like the Lakers come back and win this series?
No.
Jesus.
No.
Yeah,
it's a good thing to romanticize the idea of the comeback, the great American go Rudy mentality. But when you're going against the guys who won the championship last year and they're back in the situation, you're not going to win. It looks good, it sounds good, and I know it's very, very good for the sale of Laker jerseys and who are the most prominent team in the NBA. If you were to watch, you would think it was the Lakers who were the champions, but no, it's not gonna happen.
Chandler and I, we were going back and forth. When you drop a 20-point lead, I want to know your perspective. Who's to blame for that? Is that a coaching error? Is that players? Is that all of the above? Is it a combination? What's your opinion on that?
Well, as your producer, Jay Cahill would tell you, it's whoever is really good with his own bookie. Because I'm joking. I would. The deal is when you lose by 20, you want to lose. When you're winning by 20, then all of a sudden you start seeing the other team come back. One of the things we used to do is whoever had it going, we would foul that person really hard, not to hurt them, but just putting your body on them. The other thing you have to figure out how to call your timeouts and who to sub. You got to sub whatever right away to bring a new energy in. You can't go down. But you guys with the 3-ball now, it's much easier than it was in the past.
To make up that 20 is quick. If or when the Lakers end up losing this series, we're going to start the LeBron speculation immediately. I can't wait. Do you think he would try or would want to try to play somewhere else? Do you think this is his best bet? Finish it here, try for one more championship, however long that is. What would you do if you were LeBron?
Oh, if I was LeBron, I would have quit 5 years ago. No, I would have been like $400 million in the bank and 400 to come.
See ya.
My tie, please. What I'm saying, I'm thinking LeBron never leaves his jersey. Listen, he is better now than anybody close to his age. It seems like he got better with age. He's like they're gonna say fine wine, like they talk about. But there's no reason. What would be the reason for LeBron not to come back and continue playing? It's the same. He doesn't have a wife like yelling at him at home like Tom Brady saying quit the league. No, he's sitting around going, this is what I love to do. This is kind of what I was built to do. He's the best thoroughbred to ever play in the league the way he's going. And I think he should just stay until all of a sudden they rip the jersey off of him. But it'd be so crazy for him to just say, I don't want to do this anymore. You have to look at it from the business point of view. The Lakers would be in a huge amount of trouble.
I can't imagine. It's going to be weird.
John, your teams, the Pistons and the Bulls, these Lakers teams you were on, what would you do with this Nuggets team? Obviously, you mentioned earlier you get physical. The guy that gets going, you foul him hard. If you're the Lakers, do you put in like a Jackson Hayes and try and just get real physical with Jokic? Like, what do you do? Because nothing is working.
Jokic should be on an 8-0 run immediately.
You know what I mean? Like,
no question. No question. You should really go in there and hit him. You got to have your team that's in shape and say, we're going to play hard. We're going to play. If we get up 20 again, we got to learn to get up 40. Charles Barkley would say, put your foot on his neck. That is it. You just have to have this mentality that you want to embarrass people, that you want to literally destroy their character. Because that's all it is, right? And then you're going to say, well, it's just a basketball game. We did our best. Nah, man, it's a insult to your character to be up 20 and then lose. And so that's another reason. When I played because I wanted to talk smack. We already was getting paid. And then I found out no one gets paid during the playoffs. So it's definitely just a pride thing. But it's a pride thing. And when you have pride in yourself and in the game, and, you want to go back, to the locker room, and then when you walk by the wives and girlfriend room, you can be like, I shut your man down, that kind of thing.
I like the idea of that happening, by the way. We had two amazing endings last night. It was really just a great night of basketball. Is there a memorable ending in your career that sticks out above the others?
Yes. Champagne in my eyes against the Lakers. We beat them 4 straight. And the best thing is we ran off court. We were champions, and we didn't just continue it there. We ran out to the bus. We kicked the windows out of the bus, turned the lights off, was mooning people as we was driving by. A couple of suns, but at least a spear here or there. And then it was the best time I've ever had in my life at the end of a game. But any other ending of like a guy hitting a shot like that, that's never close to getting champagne in your eyes.
In a debate that never ends, an anonymous player survey, 46% said Michael Jordan, 42% LeBron James, 10% Kobe Bryant. Who's your GOAT? Let's talk about it.
Michael Jordan.
Boom.
Simple
enough.
enough.
Think about that one.
There we go.
No, you don't have to, because without Michael, those two don't exist.
There you go.
Right? Kobe went and watched every bit of film. Like that was the blueprint. It still is. If you watch, that's the blueprint. MJ, the way he plays, the way he goes after it. MJ's the blueprint. For somebody not to say Kobe and put LeBron in there, they're always going to keep comparing. And so I want you two guys to remember this. John Salley even said it back in 2024. In 2030, they're going to be talking about somebody else, and they're not going to talk about Michael Jordan or Kobe. It's like we used to talk about Dr. J and Moses, or we used to talk about, it's going to move, and more people are going to say the greatest of all time. When time stops, that's when we can do the judge. But until then, who's better in this 10-year series, this 10-year series, and this 10-year series? I think 10-year span. I think that's how you have to judge it.
There's some 8-year-old in San Antonio right now, and
ready to go.
10 years is going to be like, Wembanyama is the greatest player of all time.
By the way, you didn't mention Paul Pierce got like 0.08% or something.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't throw that in the question.
I probably got.
It was bad journalism.
I probably got like 0.3 there.
He got a vote.
He got a vote. He got a vote. All right.
That vote was made in Boston.
It was Paul, to be honest. Bad Boys 2. You were in them. Now we have Bad Boys Ride or Die. It's happening. It's coming soon. Do we have a part in that?
Mike Lowry.
Yeah, I wasn't in Bad Boys 3 because, Will wasn't in his right mind. But then they made sure that I was in Bad Boys 4. You know what I'm saying? So June 7th, you get to see one of the greatest movies I've ever seen, and I'm happy to be a part of it. It is hilarious. You know what's funny? When you go to movies and you get sequel. Sometimes you go, oh, I'm tired of this.
Oh, yeah.
This is funny. They twisted it differently.
Really?
Will and Martin, I'm telling you, it's so many twists in this movie. I was finished shooting my part, and then the strike happened. So that was that, and then we had to wait and pick back up. But it picked up right where they left off, on top. It is a great movie, and I'm not selling this because I need to say this. They're not paying me to say it. I already got paid. And I'm a call girl, not a prostitute. So it's a difference, right?
Yes.
Chandler knows.
Chandler knows. Chandler definitely knows. How you feel about that,
So you're going to love this movie. Bad Boys 4 is, probably the best of the series.
Wait, where was that in the chronology of the slap? Did the filming happen after the slap or before the slap?
Yeah.
Okay.
Will got his freedom. Then we started shooting the movie.
Okay. I need to make sure I have it so I know when I'm watching the movie what mindset I'm looking at on that screen. I can't wait. They're ridiculous.
It made him and Chris 2 better men. And I'm glad they made up. It made them better men. So Will is back and doing his thing. He was at Coachella performing in Men in Black.
Right.
He is going to keep moving. It just, at least he doesn't have to worry about the academy. He can just go on living his life.
And Chris Rock is courtside at Knicks games.
It's crazy.
Everybody's good again. See, it was just a momentary lapse in judgment, and it's totally fine.
That's right.
John, love having you on. Seriously,
best.
nobody has a backdrop like you. And then today we got Pita and
Shout out to Maya's Cookies.
Yeah, shout
Peter
out to
and
all of
Maya's
it. Thank you
Cookies,
so
same
much.
people. That's right. And make sure, I want to check next time.
Yeah, of course, I know. We're on it. We'll take a quick
right.
break. We'll be right back.
Peace.
Run it up, then run it back. Run it back. Run it up, run it back. Run it up, then run it back.
Survey says, well, if you haven't heard of this by now, here we go. So this has been happening since 2019, but The Athletic puts out an anonymous players poll on a bunch of categories from around the league. So we've got some of the questions now. I'm going to see how you guys would answer it. Starting with, which coach would you least want to play for? And yeah, I don't agree with what they did here.
I did. I said Tibbs.
You agree with the?
I just don't
cap?
want. Yeah, they just work you to the bone. You're getting taped for shoot-arounds. There's long practices, grueling training camps. I feel like players don't like that. But you know what would make this more interesting if it wasn't anonymous? If you had to say.
Thank you.
You actually had to show your answer. So like, Klay Thompson picked Tibbs. Start a beef. But yeah, I put Tibbs. I wouldn't want that smoke.
You did too?
Definitely Tibbs.
What? You guys are lazy.
No, we're not
He
lazy.
just wants the best out of you.
Yeah, after an hour and a half, how much more basketball do we need to talk about?
Yeah.
This is like a 3-hour practice is overkill.
And he's just not gonna adapt
thanks.
to like the new game, the new wave,
What? I
the
hope
load
they win
management.
everything.
He just won't do it.
No thanks.
Survey says. Is that how I do it? Yeah, look, yeah, there you guys are right. That's overwhelming.
Whatever.
That's
A lot of people say it,
overwhelming.
though.
It's only 77 votes cast, so if we're being honest.
Pop?
like-
Who's hating on Pop?
That's even worse.
Somebody
For
weak?
77
Yeah.
votes for nearly 40 of them, nearly 40 to be
Well, his players have his back, and that's really all that
35 or
matters.
so.
I bet you his players, some of his players still voted for him. I guarantee you.
If it's anonymous.
That's Jalen Brunson right there. That's
No.
It's
How dare
anonymous.
you. It's
By the way,
anonymous,
does
you
this
swear.
bother Tibbs at all?
He doesn't even know this shit
No.
exists.
Although when they did show him that GIF meme, whatever the heck it was, of him that was sort of walking in, I don't even know what it's originally from, he was actually kind of funny. Like, he doesn't know any of this stuff. And that's why we love him.
Probably a good thing.
All right, next question. Did you have something?
No.
Okay. Which coach would you most want to play for? Lou.
I've played for I played for Doc. I've played for T. Lou. I will run it back.
T. Lou.
Chauncey Billups is an interesting one. I've worked with Big Shot, not as a head coach, but I would be interested to play for Chauncey Billups.
So what's your number one?
My number one was Nick Nurse because I was with Nick Nurse in Toronto as an assistant, and he didn't have anything to say. So I'm so interested to work with him.
Did he show you this?
No, I didn't see that one, but Nurse was super cool. He was
It's a
actually
different noise.
Yeah, he was actually the coach that worked me out before games, and
Okay.
so we had a great working relationship. So I'm interested to see who he is as a head coach. So I picked Nick Nurse.
I went with Malone. He really had me last year at the
I
parade.
love that. Oh, you like Doug Malone?
Yeah, like,
Okay, think that's how coaching is going to be?
he won my heart, how he handled that whole situation.
That is not a reason.
And then I put Pop as second closest. Like, how do you not want to play for the greatest coach of all time?
Well, survey says, let's see what the players anonymously. Okay, no, y'all didn't pick Spoelstra. Spoelstra's not on your
And
list.
Nurse not even on there.
No JB Bickerstaff, no Jamal Mose.
Really? Quinn Snyder made the list?
They don't have the reputations yet.
By the way,
though.
Doc Rivers is one of the most liked and hated.
God,
You know what?
controversial is what he is.
I'll say this really quick about Doc. It's no gray area with him. Either you loved him as a coach
Okay.
or you hated him as a coach. It's one or the other. It's
kinda
no
like
gray
that.
area.
I love him as
I love him.
like,
I
you know,
loved him as a coach.
Yeah, like I never played for him, but he's an awesome guy off the court.
I had my best years
I
with
think
Doc.
I'd rather be a person that's the feelings about you are strong. Like, I love him or I hate him.
Yeah, it's no
in
gray area
between.
with Doc.
Yeah, I don't want that soft stuff.
Like, I would love to see who voted for Mark Daigneault.
Well, you're never going to know.
I would
you're
love
never
that.
going to know. It's a
What if it was LeBron?
Jalen Williams?
Yeah, like what? No, but it can't be.
guy in the league you would, I love this, you would least want to fight? Chandler, you're first.
I did too. I did James Johnson just because he's like a notorious like,
Oh, that's
black
a
belt.
really, really good one.
He's
like
a black belt?
Yeah, he's like, there's known that he like trains like UFC and like a black belt. And then I did Isaiah Stewart just because he just
Yes.
looks so mean.
He draws
and
blood.
Has physically assaulted people before.
He has done that. Lou?
I had somebody wrote down different. I'm going to scratch this out, and I'm going to give James Johnson his flowers. I've seen him with my own 2 eyes kick a backboard. I don't know if that impresses you guys, but
it does.
Like jumping and kicking it?
I've seen him with my own 2 eyes kick the backboard. Certified black belt.
Like James, a 10-foot backboard?
Listen, James, this is a personal friend of mine.
Who did you have?
I had DeMar DeRozan because I know things. Yeah, trust me.
All right, well,
he's got hands.
Let's see. Survey says what the players think of that. All right, so everybody knows about the black belt, apparently. Who else?
My biggest concern with picking James Johnson is I didn't know if he's
I don't know why Boban's in there.
Yes,
he's one of the nicest people.
He'll just hug you.
Yeah, he doesn't want any trouble with anybody.
Marcus Morris
He's
Sr.
actually
is a good one.
That's
a good one.
Yeah, Star is a great one. But Boban has hurt people in practice on accident, and he feels terrible.
Giannis can't fight.
Yeah, I'm not.
Boban can't fight.
I don't know why Giannis
Joel
is in
can't
there.
Fight.
I don't know why
Bobby Portis is a good one.
Steven Adams is a good one.
I don't know why Joel's in there.
I miss Steven Adams, actually.
We've seen Portis punch. That's good. We've seen Draymond punch.
Yeah.
That's good. Let's go to the next one. Building a roster from scratch. Who's your first pick? Lou.
Okay.
Yeah.
SGA.
Okay.
I'm going to go SGA, and if we're going to go a little younger, I'll probably go Wemby.
A little younger, damn. Okay.
Just a little younger. They're both still
smidge.
Maybe.
They're both still terribly young, but I'll go SGA.
Okay.
Point guard of the future.
I went Jokic. I went the best player in the NBA the last 3 years, and probably the best player in the NBA the next 3 years. And then I went Wemby as well as my second choice because he is the absolute future.
Not Chet Holmgren?
I think we're all in on
I didn't have enough room on my
picks.
paper for a third.
Sucker.
Are we just sticking to our MVP picks at this point?
Like
until one of us are right, and then I'm gonna dance on your grave once Jokic wins it.
Survey says. Actually, I'm curious about this one. Would they? There it is.
Wemby got more votes than Jokic. Oh, Anthony Edwards is a great one too.
Oh, that's a. You know what? That's a good one. SGA though, only 4%.
You know what's great? And I'm a Dallas homer. I did not even consider Luka, which is crazy.
Well, I don't think you should have. Who's picking? Look, LeBron's amazing and he does crazy, but right now,
look at Paolo getting
building
some votes.
a roster.
Listen, there are some 19-year-olds out there, like we said, that's all they know. LeBron is definitely going to get votes.
Okay.
Brandon Miller didn't vote because Paul George isn't on here.
Okay, there's a few of those. Okay, this might be my favorite. League's most overrated player, Chandler.
Oh, are we answering?
I'm not getting involved in that.
Yeah,
yes, you are.
I don't want to. Here's the thing. I didn't answer this one because I saw the polls.
Yeah,
I didn't
we
want to
did.
cheat.
Why does everyone hate Rudy Gobert?
Here's the thing. I don't think he's that overrated at all. I don't think he's the most skilled guy out there. I guess personality-wise, he rubs people the wrong way, but overrated. He's like a 4-time defensive.
Yeah,
you didn't have to do that, man.
But you know what I mean? How is he overrated? It's not like we're like praising his game. No, he's just a defending shot blocker. He's not overrated. Now there's some guys on that list that are overrated.
I mean, some of these guys on the list, what are we even talking
Like who?
about?
Nah, neither. We're not going to do all that. But I don't see the Rudy Gobert overrated.
Dylan Brooks? Is Dylan Brooks the one you think's overrated?
No, because he's valuable too. Like
so I don't think we rate him as particularly high either. I think he's Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, he's a role player.
Yeah.
He's not overrated.
Bradley Beal, is that who you're thinking?
No, I never would go against my Gators.
Okay, I'm going to go to break right now. We'll come back and wrap things up. And then I'll try to get to the bottom of it.
I'm just going to keep saying no.
Guess it. We'll be right back. Is it Julius Randle?
Run it back. Run it up. Then run it back. Run it back. Run it up. Run it back. Run it up. Then run it back.
Well, we got a few seconds left here. There's a game tonight here in Los Angeles. Dallas Mavericks Clippers. Who's going?
I'm going.
What? Why am I high-five?
I don't know. You know, it always sounds fun, too. I hate the idea that we'll be driving there during traffic, missing the end of the game on before. But, yeah, I'll be there.
Wow, you seem excited about it. Lou, you going with him?
No, I'm chilling.
That's what I like.
Happy birthday, Ari. We're going to hang out.
That's what I like
Happy
to hear.
birthday, Ari.
I will be asleep by 8:30. Have a great rest of your day.
Run it back. Run it up. Then run it back. Run it up. Run it back.